Are you going to congratulate us? We are episode 5.
Cinco, mi gente. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all of our subscribers and people liking our videos and sharing them. We so appreciate you. We hope that you are doing fantastic. As you can see, it is a gorgeous day aquí in Nueva York and we are loving it. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty delicious.
Delicious. What a great word.
I mean, it's a sunny spring day in Brooklyn, the best place to live on the universe.
You know, I'm gonna, not because I'm biased or anything, but I'm gonna second that.
It's just, great vibe, great peeps, great pizza.
Great location. What can we say?
And great food.
I mean, we kind of have it all in one spot. You know,
Lots of activities.
lots.
And nighttime activities too.
Oh, many nighttime activities here.
Pero, so today we have a new segment coming up, but before, I think my sister wanted to make a quick little announcement. You know what? This is like on the fly. I think I need to do a little bit of this.
Oh, you're making us look so gorgeous. Listen, before we jump into our new segment, mi gente, I just want to check in and see if you did your homework.
Did you do your homework?
You know, like I'm gonna just put it out there.
Did
Just
Troy
gonna-
do his homework?
Troy, did you do it?
Troy.
Sis, did you do it? You know, and you
And
know
Mal,
what?
did you do it?
And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna comment later on under this video, and I'm gonna talk about what I did for my homework, and to just give you a little quick reminder. It was simply just, did you take a few minutes or sometime throughout this last week to just spend a little you time?
That's right.
Simple. So, mi
We're gonna-
gente, if you did it, please, comment that down below. Let us know what you did and how that worked out for you, and we're gonna do the same.
We're gonna save our sister homework fight to the end this time. We have a new segment for you. This is inspired by the things we see in our day to day.
That's
And
right.
this segment is called A Bit Too Much. And I have a feeling we're gonna keep doing it mucho times as you keep seeing our cute, adorable little faces on these videos.
Yes, I have a feeling that there's always going to be a lot of content for this new segment, A Bit Too Much. Well, Ra, why don't you enlighten us and tell us, what does that mean? A
Okay,
bit too much of
I'm
what?
just gonna go dive in because I'm an Aries and I just like to get straight to the point. I love pets. Everybody knows that I'm a dog lover. I didn't procreate human children. I chose dogs. And with that said, one of the things that irritate me the most is to see people with their pets in the supermarket. I have no tolerance for it. Like, it's, you know what? It's one thing which I don't think is okay if it's a teeny tiny little thing that you have in your bag. It's another thing when it's a huge freaking dog who's walking through, like, let's say Whole Foods, and the owner is half not paying attention to what the dog is looking like, and cut to that big dog's nose is in my grocery cart, and I have people in my family that are allergic to dog hair. Don't sizzle me up so quickly.
Listen, I'm going to go ahead and second agree with you. I don't feel that there's a place for it in the market. Mira, you
I
go
don't
into La
understand. They're not
Marqueta,
even emotional support dogs. Unless
Leave
you
them
need,
there. Leave them
unless
at
you
home.
physically need a dog to assist you moving around, please, like, do yourself a favor. We love your dogs, not at the supermarket. I don't
Yep.
care how clean the dogs are.
or how
that shed
sweet,
and
or
it's
how
so.
amazing.
It is. When we talk about entitled and privilege,
That's a big one.
this is a big one. Do you see how incendiary it gets me?
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of businesses are literally putting up signs. They're saying, do not, they're very clear, spelling out, do not bring your animal into La
Including
Marqueta.
emotional support dogs, because people know the trick. Get a little tag, all of a sudden you've converted your dog into an emotional support buddy. Okay, I get it, but not at the supermarket.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too much when we see them at the restaurants. I get it if the restaurant
Outside.
has outside seating.
But I do not personally like to see them inside. You
No,
know,
me
I mean,
neither.
I'm also a big four-legged lover, pero I just feel like there's some environments where, yeah, maybe I'm good with that, not necessarily having our four-leggeds there. And I just feel like as much as we've become a society or cities or environments where we love our animals, you got to remember not everyone loves animals, and even if they do, they may love them or appreciate them from far, or maybe like my sister had mentioned earlier, maybe they're allergic or even afraid. I mean, there's people that are just genuinely afraid of
Yeah,
animals.
because to be honest, I was nervous after that incident because I was already pretty much done with my shopping experience. And I was like, oh my God, I hope that I get home and I don't have to explain myself because it's a dog hair.
Like, what is this?
That's pretty disgusting, to be honest, and it's not hygienic. And another thing too is, you love your dog, not everybody else.
Yeah. So you know what? That's what we call a little bit too much.
A little bit too
A
much.
little bit too much.
Just a little bit too much. What's your number two, Alex?
Let's see. This is a good one. I think this. I think we're all gonna feel this one, mi gente. When people feel the passion, the need, the bolas to reach out to you or to comment or to come at you from any capacity because they don't feel that you are expressing or doing something the way that they feel you should do it.
So what would we call that in a short sentence if we were gonna list it? A bit too much, folks that take their pets to the market. A bit too much.
Entrometido. Honestly, like I just feel like when that happens, it's
What does entrometido mean?
like you're like too much, like you're too in it. You're too in the business.
Too
You're
much in
a
the
little bit
business.
too. I feel like you're overconfident. You're overstepping, and you're being disrespectful. It's like it's not your place to just go to anyone whenever you feel like it, and especially if it's in their world or their
Can you give
environment.
me an example of what you mean?
Well, for example, I mean, there's millions. If I'm teaching a class and you're a part of my class and you're not happy with perhaps a word that I used or the way I'm handling an activity, and you decide to, not just tell me after class, which at least would be respectful, but to interrupt the class and specifically tell me, hey, I don't think you should do it like that.
Who's teaching the class?
I'm teaching the class, so
Interesting.
so I am creating the environment. I am inviting you to it, and if you are there, it's because you agreed to be there, and so you agreed to be there to experience and receive the environment I'm creating. But if you're there to try to shift the way I'm doing something to tailor it to what you feel it should be, again,
bit too
disrespectful, a little bit too much, rude, stay in your lane. And there's a time and place for everything. I mean, and this happens in all environments. Like online, I think we see it the most harsh, right? Because online, there's no accountability, there's no person-to-person accountability. So it's so easy to do this. I'm gonna curse you
I
out.
have a
I'm gonna
couple
tell
of
you.
a bit too much.
Yeah.
It's a bit too much if it's early in the morning and I'm seeing my social media handle tagged specifically because somebody wants to pick a fight early in the morning because of subject matters that I don't cover,
Right.
that I never talk about. Darned if you do, darned if you don't.
And
But it doesn't matter. Somebody's demons are going to be irritated. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to engage because somebody woke up cranky pants in the morning
Pinky.
and all of a sudden they're like looking around in their world and maybe this little face, that
Pops
little
up.
face pops up.
And so you got targeted.
And I'm not going to be a target of you're a bit too much syndrome.
Listen, I would love for us to go back to a time where we just respected people's craft, people's opinion, people's way of doing something. Like we once upon a time, we all did agree that you would never go up to an artist creating a painting and tell him what colors to use. Once upon a time, we all agreed that if someone was writing a book, you were eagerly awaiting to read their book in the way they wrote it.
Right.
You know, like
With their expression and
with
their
their
words.
expression. You know, it's like once upon a time we actually all agreed to these things, and somehow in the last like whatever amount of years, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. Where there's no lines, there's no boundaries. I mean, for the love of God, when comedians who were the people that had the pass for anything and everything don't even have that anymore. What, where do we have that space? Like, are we just now accepting this little bit too much behaviors um, as the norm? Is that going to be what we accept? That's going to be okay moving forward? It's not okay with me. I do not accept it. I'm a grown ass woman. You know, like I don't think that I need to be monitored according to what someone feels I should be doing. You know,
Or saying.
or saying,
Or wearing. Because
or
these
wearing.
days, God forbid,
Jeez.
you wear something or it's a certain kind of braid. Don't even get me started. It bleeds too much into certain places. Like, quick examples. I've seen students rally with other students around their professor to be like, oh no, we are not doing that research paper for that many pages.
Right, and they're not doing it, and they're getting
And literally
They're
they
getting
get
away with
away
it.
with it because they have like this gang culture. And the other day, we may have, I don't know if I mentioned it here or not, but a woman that I interviewed recently, Brianna Latipo, you know, she mentioned that the youth of today, they have like either they're not really well versed in communicating, looking at people in the eye, and it's either they attack you or they run away, and that is not a way to communicate. And
Yeah.
it's not obviously just the youth. Adults have these very bad habits, but adults who think they know more than you, because that's really what it is.
Yeah. And
Metiche syndrome going on to like 1,000%.
Metiche syndrome, a little bit too much, and especially these
Thumbs
days.
down.
Comes down to that, mi gente. You know, like we gotta start, you know, setting some parameters.
Setting some boundaries.
Yeah, and being okay with it. And you know what? That means maybe going back to some of the boundaries we had in the past.
Listen,
Some
a lot
of
of
them were
times,
actually good boundaries.
a lot
You
of
know?
the reasons I've been canceled is because when people do that to me, they do not realize that every action has consequences.
Yeah,
And
that's
some
true.
of those consequences mean that you sever the communication system between you and I. And that's a hard boundary, especially if you're a bit too much is in any way um, can take a shot at the platform that we have carefully cultivated with integrity and love for 12 years. So I'm sorry, that's our baby.
Like, be
And
mindful.
be mindful of what you say, how you say it. I don't care. It's like I told my sister. She knows that this is a hard boundary. I don't care if we're blood relatives. I don't care if we're best friends. I don't care if you're my family member. I don't care if we work together. If you have a comment or you have a destructive way of communicating with me, and you're within my circle of trust, and you choose to um, engage with me or us or our platform in a way that's disrespectful, afuera, delete it, blocked. I don't have to fight with you.
No, and you know, I feel like, listen, there's a couple things that can offset those things, those reactions, or those consequences from people or situations, and that's if you're really unhappy with something you're listening or watching or a part of, then you do have the option always to shut it down or not listen to it or walk away or not be a part of it.
Well, yeah, what happened to tune the station? Tune
Right,
into
it's like
another station.
or just, you know, remove yourself. That is always there. You know, two, if you are feeling passionate about something, you have a question for somebody, then pull them aside respectfully, approach them with respect, and ask your question. Because personally, I feel like there's nothing wrong with asking questions either. You know, like, if anything, yeah, fantastic. If you're passionate about something or you're curious, there's nothing wrong with you asking. But go about it in the right way. You know, there are ways that you can offset some of these consequences by And also, like, just set boundaries for yourself. You know, like if you're entering a church, if you're entering a ceremony, if you're entering someone's craft, whether
Or class.
online, right, or in person, just go in understanding and already prepping yourself. Hey, I'm probably not going to agree with everything I see or hear,
Who does
right?
though? That's
Because
the
that's
thing. Nobody does.
exactly,
I've never sat there
that's not
and listened to a
practical.
teacher and be like, I
I agree with
co-sign
everything.
100%.
Exactly. And we have worked with teachers for years, like consistently. That doesn't mean that we've worked with people consistently because we agree with everything that they do or say. In fact, there are times where we're like, that's not me. I do not resonate with those things. But, you know, there's respect, there's also I'm my own person, so we can agree to disagree. You know, there's the fact that you will not resonate with everything you hear and see, and that's perfectly okay to do that. I mean, that is, remember, the point of us being so different as humans. We need all these different textures and, you know, layers and colors and expressions. We need them. We can't expect everyone to be this cookie cutter. Like, what type of society are we going to create if that's what we're going towards, you know? Cookie cutter, everybody va a decir lo mismo, say the same thing, act the same way, dress the same way, follow the same rules.
Do you remember the dean that I would tell you about in college?
But
That he would give us like 5 to 6, 7, 8 hour lectures on a Sunday?
that was crazy.
That was a bit too much.
A bit
But one
too much.
thing in these a bit too much 5 to 8, 7, 8 hour lectures on a Sunday with young students is
Torture.
torture. One thing he did say was, if you have two of the same, you don't need one. You need
One's going to cancel the other one
yeah.
out.
And what's going on? We're co-signing to cookie cutter society.
We don't want
Yes.
that.
Thumbs down.
Comes down to that. A little bit too much. A little bit too much.
What's the next one?
Let's move on. Oh, this is another one that we can all definitely constantly hearing the word narcissist or narcissism.
Goodness, I feel like I see that everywhere.
I feel that all of a sudden, the last several years, everyone's behavior is now narcissistic. Like that's how what everyone would equate anyone's behavior. Oh, you get me mad? Narcissist. You disagree with me just because you're narcissist. Oh, you are being stubborn because you're a narcissist. It's like, listen, I understand that our society has changed,
And it is very narcissistic.
and we have a lot of narcissistic tendencies, and a lot of our modern day changes have affected many people psychologically. A lot of our day to day behaviors and lifestyles have also contributed to that. So I'm not saying that there's not a place or that there's not truth to that, but you know, I also see in modern day culture that, you know, it's almost like a word gets co-opted and it becomes like the new brand. I might as well go get the it's like the new scarlet letter. I'm just gonna put narcissist on me because apparently that's what everybody becomes the moment you sort of disagree or have some sort of um, you know, friction. And to me, I just feel like it's a little bit too much, you know. I
bit
feel like,
too much.
are there people, or can all of us uh, have moments of narcissistic tendencies? 100%. No one's exempt from that. But does that mean that everyone on Earth is walking around, or that you're having friction with, is all of a sudden born again or a narcissist person? No. And that's not okay to constantly go around just label people stuff. I'm just tired of the labeling. Like, we get obsessed with the new term, the new label, the new thing that we're gonna go come after people with, and then it just becomes like the you know, the scarlet letter that you give people or situations for everything without necessarily doing the real work. And what I mean by that is it becomes too easy to just say you're a narcissist.
Because what is that really when somebody says that to you?
It can mean so many different things.
But ultimately, it's a conversation shut down.
Yeah, it's a conversation shut down.
That really, ultimately, that's what it is.
And
like
that's my point.
whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
Somebody blasts you with that, whether or not that person who's accusing you of it, whether or not it's true or not, it's not an effective tool in communication.
No, and it's not going to lead. And if it stops the conversation right there, then you're not. It's not leading to where it needs to go, which is deeper, which is to be able to, you know, comprehend what's really going on between two people or situation. So it's not just about the communication; it's about the comprehension. So we can all use our big words, but if then it's not going deeper to comprehend what's really going on, what's really seeding, whatever issues are coming up, and for you guys to do it either individually or together or as a group, whatever the details are. If you're not going in to really do that deep dive, then it's not effective. It's not being helpful, and all that's happening is just creating more frustration and again separation. So I just feel like it's become a little bit too much to kind of now hide behind that word.
I have a bit too much. I'm just sick and tired that it's 2024 and people are still experiencing Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh,
Literally, that's a thing. And when we covered it in 2017,
vida.
2017. In 2017, we covered TDS, Trump derangement syndrome,
That's years
ago. And we weren't joking about it, even though it was kind of like a comical situation because we were still learning about it. But people, that has become a dirty word. Down to the point that the other day, you know how some of these AI tools, you can generate your own tool? So, I mean, generate your own image. So you put a couple of keywords. Do you know if you put the name Trump, it flags it as like harmful? That to me is a bit too much. Even AI has TDS.
Wow. Well, because that means it's been entrained or coded
Yeah,
to
exactly.
do that, which again is censorship and again a sense of control, telling us what to believe, psychologically manipulate us to hear certain words and again react, which
Yeah,
is
it's
what's
just-
happening in society in so many capacities. But yeah, that's a good one. That is happening all over this country for many years now, and it doesn't seem to be stopping.
No, it's a bit too much.
It is a bit too
Um,
much.
And media, loves using covering stories with his name because when they do, even though it's a bit too much for everybody's ears, down to the people who support him, it's
Gets
they
the
get
attention.
they get ratings and they get attention. So that's a bit too much. We're going to have to start winding down here. Anything else that you'd like to offer?
Well, I would like to just end with the other one for me. That's a big one. That's a bit too much in our society, and probably we're seeing this all over the world too. And that's just that our children are constantly being overexposed to too much,
Oh yeah,
too young, and
it's a whole episode right there.
it's right. And I just want to say, like, can we at least all agree to keep our kids innocent for as long as possible? It's for me, I'm like, put the politics to the side, the issues for 1 second. I mean, like, our children as a whole, they are the future, the next generation, and they should grow up having the most joyful, light, happy, exciting childhood. They shouldn't be
Full of
raised
imagination,
as little tiny
creativity.
people to try to go into these concepts or
And
worlds
boxes.
that they don't even mentally or emotionally have the physical, the literal capacity for. And I just feel like it's a little bit too much, mi gente. Like, we as adults, we could agree to disagree.
Oh, even the
Whatever.
neighborhood knows it's too much. You see how loud it's gotten?
Right, it's like
Ugh.
signs from the
Everybody's
universe.
allergic to this.
Signs from the universe. Like, our babies in the world
Leave
should
our
be
babies
kept
alone. Hands off
the
our
babies.
children.
And so I just feel like it's been a little bit too much to see their innocence being destroyed. And mi gente, and this is like self-accountability too. If you're putting a phone in your baby's hand, I'm sorry,
A bit
if
too
that's
much.
you. I'm
Should
not
just
trying to
don't
offend
open a
it. I'm just
whole
trying to.
can
I'm
of
just trying to be real honest.
Hormigas
But
and
if you're
worms.
doing that, and especially if you're not supervising that baby or that small child, that's a little bit too much, and that is affecting their innocence. So it starts
Yeah.
from in so many areas within the home and outside the home. But let's keep our babies protected and innocent, as they should be.
What did you think about our new segment, A Bit Too Much?
Let us know. And also, if you have any, ideas of a bit too much that you would like for us to cover, let us know. It may be covered in the next Bit Too Much video.
Yeah, and then for homework, what's going to be the homework today? You see this, as you can tell, we were very well thought out with our homework today.
No, I didn't think about the homework for next week.
You know what? Maybe it's just be. Times
Yeah,
are getting
just be.
crazy.
Just be.
Just be with your moment. We're going to continue to be with our moment as I continue to drink this amazing lemonade
This week you
from
have
the secret location that we're in.
no tarea.
You're off the hook. There's no homework. It's like a spring break.
Surprise!
Surprise.
But don't get so comfortable, okay?
There's going to be
Because
homework next week.
next
Troy.
week?
Troy, there's going to be homework
next week we're coming back. We're coming back with some homework for you. Pero thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for loving us up. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a fantastic, safe, beautiful week, family.
Bye.